something suspicious, we will inspect it. Okay, so these are the three things Barack Obama has told us. Okay,
yes,
now we
true.
got to go to break. Time for Ned Edwards' Notebook. When we come back, we're going to talk about what the Iranian foreign minister is telling us is going to happen. And you decide for yourself if this is the deal of a lifetime or the opportunity of a lifetime. Stay with us right here on the Conservative Syndicate. We'll be right back.
One has to wonder if America will put up or fold up. Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, I am still amazed at the phenomenal speech Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu gave when he addressed Congress. In fact, I would have to say that was the best speech in that historic congressional edifice since the heady days of Ronald Reagan. Unfortunately, as well done and spot on as Netanyahu's speech was, if the federal government had been doing what it is constitutionally mandated to do, the Prime Minister's address would not have been necessary. For starters, for almost 7 years, the Obama administration has been conducting its own personal war against American military might. At present, our republic no longer has the capability to engage in two major wars or conflicts simultaneously. That development alone has emboldened the Muslim enemies of freedom to flex their terrorist muscle like never before. Thousands and thousands of Christians and black Muslims have lost their heads due to sword or knife-wielding dedicated Muslims who have decided to play God and choose their day of death. Millions of other people throughout the world are either hoping or praying that somehow, some way, someday, America will soon recover from her current stupor of Obama-induced decline and show of weakness. Thanks or no thanks to the tepid approach in dealing with the most destructive dedicated Muslim enemies throughout the Middle East, the Obama administration has helped strengthen the resolve of ISIS Muslims to swarm like murdering locusts, killing infants to great-grandparents for sport. In his speech before a joint meeting of Congress, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu warned,
"The greatest danger facing our world is the marriage of militant Islam with nuclear weapons,"
warning that the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, or ISIS, may be an enemy of Iran, and they are both fighting for the crown of militant Islam. The Prime Minister added, to defeat ISIS and let Iran get nuclear weapons would be to win the battle but lose the war. We cannot let that happen, Netanyahu said. Netanyahu's speech was a warning to President Barack Obama not to enter into a 10-year deal with Iran to lift international sanctions in exchange for the promise that Iran will curb its nuclear capabilities. I find it rather Bush League for the United States government to allow itself and the world to continuously be made a fool of by Muslims who decades ago declared war on the West and who continue to act on that declaration. Any military strategist that understands the concept of knowing the enemy would have either researched or by now realized that you cannot trust a dedicated Muslim in negotiations. In the book, What Every American Needs to Know About the Quran, William J. Federer lays out for all to see the deceptive customs of the Islamists who believe it is okay to lie to infidels or non-Muslims. Considering that Islam defines the entire non-Muslim world as the house of war, or Dar al-Harb, it is acceptable to always lie and deceive non-Muslims. Knowing that Muslims at war, either planning or actual, are going to seek to deceive non-Muslims. So why on earth will the United States not take a harder stand against Iran? It was threatened both America and Israel. Unfortunately, the United States government continues to put we the people at risk by shrinking the military, weakening the economy, and not dealing from a position of strength against our enemies while disrespecting allies like Israel. Oh, by the way, Russia and China are both salivating at the prospect of a weakened United States of America. So the question remains, will the United States put up or fold up? I'm Ron Edwards.
Blowing away the myths and revealing the truth. You can continue to blow away the myths with Ron Edwards on Facebook, Twitter, and theronedwards.com.
You can catch all our show archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right, General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
800-280-3454. 800-280-3454. 800-280-3454.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted financial expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known and syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live, every Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time, firsthand, from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Bob airs live every Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on blogtalkradio.com/Robert Cardoso Live, or you can choose any one of his archive shows at blogtalkradio.com/Robert Cardoso Live. That's blogtalkradio.com/Robert Cardoso Live. For complete and honest commentary on politics, finances, and culture, check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Good evening, America, and those listening around the world. It's time for the Conservative Syndicate with your host, John Matthews, self-ordained, politically incorrect, mad prophet of the airways. The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most knowledgeable activists and pundits today that together seek to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement with those seeking the truth regarding the similarities and differences between the religion of politics and the politics of religion.
Well, by getting on Larry King and telling everybody I'm a Christian and I wasn't raised in a Muslim home.
Americans have Muslims in their families or have lived in a Muslim majority country. I know because I am one of them. As a boy, I spent several years in Indonesia and heard the call of the azan at the break of dawn. For I have known Islam on 3 continents before coming to the region where it was first revealed. That experience guides my conviction.
And lest we get on our high horse and think this is unique to some other place, remember that during the Crusades and the Inquisition, people committed terrible deeds in the name of Christ.
At what point does a baby get human rights, in your view?
Well, I think that whether you're looking at it from a theological perspective or a scientific perspective, answering that question with specificity, is above my pay grade. I've got 2 daughters, 9 years old and 6 years old. I'm going to teach them, first of all, about values and morals. But if they make a mistake, I don't want them punished with a baby.
as long as we've got to fight to make sure women have access to quality, affordable health care, and as long as we've got to fight to protect a woman's right to make her own choices about her own health, I want you to know that you've also got a president who's going to be right there with you, fighting every step of the way. Thank you, Planned Parenthood. God bless you.
Hey, all you can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America.
And now, your host, John Matthews.
Hey, we're back here. Hour 2 right now, coming to you live out here in the Conservative Syndicate. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I hope you enjoyed the first hour there. We didn't get as serious as I thought we were going to get in terms of our topic tonight, but that's okay. That's okay. Sometimes you got to take a deep breath and smell the roses, as it were. if that's what we were doing, I don't know. We did have I think a great conversation in terms of some of the other things that are going on, and we did get into our topic of conversation, our main topic tonight, and that is the deal of a lifetime, as presented to us by none other than the anointed one himself, self-proclaimed Messiah. See, I'm a self-proclaimed prophet. I would never say I'm a self-proclaimed Messiah, but you know what prophets always did in the Bible was they always warned of pending doom, and that's why I like that term. Anyway, I am John Matthews, your host, and I have with me Joe Hakos from Dry Report as my co-host. And joining us right now is Ron Edwards from the Edwards Notebook. How are you doing tonight, Ron?
Oh, very well, Prophet. How are you?
I'm doing just most excellent, and just having a fun day today. Just kind of a weird one of these weird days today, but every day's a gift, you know.
Yes, it is. You know it, especially now in this world. We looked over this material, and this liar in chief. It is just amazing how I cannot put it any gentler than to say that the man hates this country, and we have a lot of co-backstabbers along with him. I mean, I'm looking at one lie after another in this so-called agreement with Iran, and for them to just come out and just tell us it's okay, basically, and they're not going to have weapons. This has been done. The sanctions, just misleading on so many different areas of this so-called agreement. And you know those imams are just snickering their pants off. And
that's really I like that term, because that's really one of the things that I think. Bottom line here, if people ask me, well, what are you so angry about? This is what I get. I get so much of this people that just want to give the impression that they're above the fray, that maybe perhaps they're even a little more intellectually and even morally superior to those of us sitting down here at the bottom complaining all the time about what's going on in the country, as if to say, don't you guys have anything better to do than just complain? And I'm like, well, I have a lot of better things to do than complain. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do those things much longer if things keep going the way they're going. But the point being is that the public, this president has got to have it etched into his mind that no matter what he says or does, the majority or a big enough portion of this electorate in this country are going to buy into what he says no matter what. And I think, and the bottom line is, that is probably what makes me more irritated than Barack Obama himself. What do you think?
Exactly. You're a million times correct, and it's sad. It's infuriating, but it is sad that people are just that way. And what's also just damning about the entire situation is that there are people that I know how dangerous he is, how horrible his policies are, or as Henry Kissinger would say, policies are, and they don't care. They're not dumb. They don't care. Mm-hmm. And it's because they have this attitude like Obama, twisted in lies, like when in your intro to the show, where Obama's talking about the Crusades and everything and the atrocities in the name of Jesus. Well, those atrocities were in retaliation for the many more atrocities for 400